Let's take a look at sharpening our images and working with noise reduction. So let's just see, this shot here was taken at ISO 5000. I was using my 70 to 200 2.8 VR2 lens, apparently at 135. F-stop was 3.5. I try not to shoot wide open. I like to go down just a little bit in order to get a little bit more of depth, if you will. Not that you're going to get a lot between 2.8 and 3.5, but seems to give me a little bit more, so that's why I shoot that. Never mind any of the basic tab adjustments here, but you can see from camera shot, I increased the exposure to this value, and I reduced the blacks to this value, and I added some clarity. And you know my feeling on clarity. All images require some point or some amount of it. Collapse distance, go down to the detail tab, and in the detail tab we have a preview window. And you can navigate what you see in the preview window by just clicking your cursor inside and dragging around through and all that kind of stuff. Or you can actually click on this little guy here and then come over and say, I think I want to work there on that guy's mug. All right? And then you can click on this little guy and that should theoretically hide and reveal it. Now, we have the amount, we have radius, we have detail, and we have masking. Whenever you go above the default value for that, we should try to reduce the radius so that it's not, things are not quite as obvious when we do our sharpening. If I take this all the way up, I don't like it. I'm going to come down about here. Detail, I'm going to reduce that down to about 15. It's just the way I am. I just don't want to have a lot of little detail things going on there. And then I've got noise reduction. I'm going to take the noise reduction off, and you can see where this image starts off with all that grain and everything, all that noise. And then what I do is I just come in here, hold the shift key, tap the up arrow key, and just give it a couple of points. If I went this far, you can see the noise is reduced, but the skin has been smoothed, and so has the beard or whisker stubble, to the point where it's just not a good look. So I'm going to take her down to about 30. Now, I personally don't play with the detail or contrast amounts. I just leave them alone. I just play with the luminance noise reduction when I'm working in Lightroom here. Color and noise reduction is a default, just like we had sharpening default sets and all that kind of stuff. I don't play with that. I just leave it alone. At this point, I may want to come in and increase the sharpening. And if I just move this up to about here, we can see that we've gotten a little more, or in this case, once it's rendered, a lot more of the detail and all that stuff back in. So again, I'm going to go back to my 50 and I'm going to leave it at that. We'll see what actually happens when I go and press print, for screen display and all that kind of stuff. But at this point, that seems to be a good amount. If you don't think it's a good amount, you can increase it a little bit so you can get some of that grit back into your image. I'm just going to take her back down and possibly leave it at 50. Maybe I'll go 60. Whatever. There you go. So now this is the fine detail smoothing and sharpening that I need you guys to play around with to create your presets for your Lightroom assignment. As you can see, I have a gazillion presets, and here are my user presets. So this is for Powerade Center. This is the new one for Powerade Center at this ISO and all this fun stuff. And the way you create a preset, like I said in class, is just go over here, click on this, call this one Sharpen and Noise Reduction ISO 5000. And then I just come in here and I click on Sharpening, and I come into noise reduction. I click on those two things because that's all I want this preset to have, and we're off and running. And I just click that, it's created, and if I scroll down, you can see that there it is, boom. I also think it's a wise idea to start using numerical or alpha characters in the beginning so that you can actually start to keep track of everything, so things aren't all over the place. All right, thanks a lot.